Well, will this be a $15 paperweight? Stay tuned.
Dr. Dingle, extension 47. Dr. Dingle, extension 47.
Probably going to be sorry I took this apart, because now this wire here is going to be in the way of the flywheel. And if I lay it down here, it's going to get on the fins. And you can't stick it down in between, there's not enough space. That's the way I see it, but I don't know. If it stays in that position, okay, but it looks to me like this is pretty well worn. And these containers are now loose. I cleaned this out. Hey, almost out of carburetor cleaner. So, I don't think I can do much more. I don't want to go out and buy any more carburetor cleaner now. Still a lot of dirt in this thing. I was going to pull this out of the way and this out of the way, but these tubes are on there pretty hard after all these years, and if I cut it off and try to put it on the nipple, it will probably be too short, and I don't want to replace the lines. You know, you have to get the right lines, and you're spending dollars here and dollars there, so I don't know. The safety tip alone that goes on the end of this chain is between $7 and $10. So if one is like $6 and change, and then you got to pay for shipping. There's only 2 of them on eBay that I saw. And so you spend $10 for this, you have to buy the chain, and like I say, I'm going to try to clean this up as best I can. Well, the tank hoses slipped off okay. I have to remember the longer hoses over here. There's a hole here, and I think that's where the oil comes out, but I sprayed in there, but all it does is kick back on me. Doesn't come through, and I'm not sure if it comes through this hole or here, but I tried going the other way too with it. And no, I'm not going to worry about that. If the oil don't come out, if I can get the rest of it going, I can just put oil on it. I'll just take a oil can and just oil the chain. That's all there is to it. That should do the same thing. You just, take a squirt can and just squirt the whole bar here and get it all nice and wet with oil. Alright, the oil tank, I blew out both lines where the vent is and where the oil is in the filter. It's all clear. But this isn't. Got a piece of stainless steel wire here. When I try to blow in with the carb cleaner from this, it just kicks back. So I try to inject this carb cleaner in here, and the same thing. So apparently there's a blockage in here, but I'm not 100% sure if there is, or maybe I don't have a good seal. But I think this is where the oil comes out. Right in this hole here. You won't be able to see that, I don't think, with the camera not getting close enough. There's a hole. Right there in the center of the magnifying glass. So, I could only go in at a 1/4 inch, because if you look on the back here, there's a metal pipe. there's a metal pipe, but so much dirt in there. It's right there. It comes around and it goes into here. I'm not going to get involved with that. On this, I found out that this goes down, so I was trying to pull up on it, so that works. This came off, but I got close-ups of the thing with my digital camera, so I should be okay to hook that back up. I don't know if I got it in there right or not. It was out. But how I'm going to get this piece into that housing here without it falling out, I don't know. Not sure. We'll worry about that when that time comes.
So many years I wandered down an old country road.
The gas tank is fine, so I didn't pull that off. You know, that's just one line. But this here, sprocket, has wear on it. So, they say, if in the book it says if you change the chain and you don't replace the sprocket when it's worn, you're just going to wear the chain out. This chain ain't really that sharp. But you know what little work I'm going to do around here, if I use it at all, it may be fine. Because like I say, this is going to be a money pit, money that I do not have to spend. So I think what I'm going to do is put it back together. But first of all, I want to measure this. Because I still say you measure the bar from here to here, and that'll tell you what size chain. We're going to do that right now. They're saying count the links or whatever you call it, you know. That seems like a hard way to do it. You should be able to measure the bar. And the question is, do you measure the bar from the point at which, let's see, which is the front of this thing. Do you measure the bar from this point out, or do you measure it from here to here? That's the only question. So I'm going to measure it from here to here. And if it's a 14-inch bar, it'll be a 14-inch chain. That's my feeling. Anyways, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to try to put this back together. And I'm not even going to do that on camera because it's going to take make the video much too long. Because it'll probably take me a good long time to get this hooked back in there. I had forgotten about this thing, and I probably would not have taken it out if I knew that. But at least I know. And as far as this oil thing, there's nothing I can do about it. What I'm going to do is I want to make another filter and put it in here before I, you know, get the contour and cut it out and put a different piece of foam in there, or a thinner one. Cut the same one down thinner, and that's it. When I took this housing off and started cleaning it out, I heard something fall on the ground, and it was a little piece of brass. I have no idea where that goes. I can't find anything in the shell over here, so I'm not going to worry about it. I cut this down, I cut it thinner. So what I'll probably do is I'll just put this in afterwards. There's nothing that really holds it in. And probably it's got a special clamp that goes around it. I have some of this stainless steel wire that I could probably wire it in, but that would look like hell. It's better than it was. It's, you know, I cut it down, I made it a little smaller and thinner. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cut some of this down a little more. And I'll put this in after I get this whole thing back in. This is going to be my biggest headache right here, is getting this hooked in so that it will stay into the top part where the trigger is. Well, story of my life, I can't get this thing in here. I cannot get that in there. I don't know how it goes in. I'm going to throw this all in a box. I'm going to give it to the park owner. He's got one like this. He can use it for parts, I guess. I'm not going to bother with this thing. I knew this was going to happen. I should leave well enough alone. I never learned my damn lesson.
Will this be a $15 paperweight?
Okay, there's a little update on this. I had it all apart, and I couldn't get the lever back in for the throttle. It was all apart. I threw it in a box, and I was going to give it to the park owner because he's got one like this. But instead of accepting it, he repaired it for me. I would never be able to get that linkage in there, but the chain will not, very, very little oil comes out. We tried everything. We blew air through it, vacuumed it, and everything. But I've got to take this cover off again. There's a hole in the top of the gas tank, which was not there before, and I might have knocked the hose out. I got so many of these tree things that are down here. I don't remember. The manual tells you nothing about that. The exploded view shows you some of the parts, and it looks like there's some kind of a vent for the gas. So what happens is you put gas in here, and then you naturally put the cover on, and you turn it over like this to work on the chain, and your gas just literally runs out of that hole and all over everything. So I'm going to be taking this cover back off and see if I can plug that hose. We couldn't figure out what it was. In here I've got, he gave me a little piece of hose. It's in here somewhere. Fuel line that I can stick in there and maybe put a screw in it or something to tighten it up, close the hole up in the top of the gas tank. So I'm going to be working on that maybe later on this afternoon. It's about a little after 5 p.m. right now, and I was up to his house, just got back a little while ago for I would say a couple hours where he was doing a lot of, we put this thing all back together. And he had an awful time with the chain too, because trying to get the chain in here, the problem is you got this thing and you can't get in there to work good, and then of course the gas kept coming out of it. It never did that before, so something happened. But anyways, I'll pull this back off and see. And it took a lot of adjustment to get this. Apparently the screws are correct. What I showed you in earlier videos. I left the cover off here. Okay, I took the cover off. The park owner helped me out with this thing. He put it all back together for me, and he got this linkage working in here, and I couldn't get it in. It's mostly because of my bad eyesight. Anyways, I found there's a hole right here in the gas tank, and whenever you turn it over on the side to work on the chain, gas was coming out. Now, I don't remember that hole being there before. Now, there are two hoses on the oil tank. Nowhere does it mention in the service manual, I think it's more of a user's guide, that there's two lines here. So I've only seen one line here, and I never saw anything. I think it probably was a plug or something that came out. So the park owner gave me a little piece of hose that I can stick in there, and then probably put a tiny screw in the middle of that. Or if that don't work, I can put a little screw in this hole here, keep the gas from coming out. And it's a heck of a time getting it started, and they had an awful hard time getting the chain on this. Mostly because the gas kept coming out. It does cut wood. He sharpened it, but it's not all that sharp. So I still don't know what size chain this is. Nothing's marked on it. But anyways, I want to plug this hole, so I'll come back in a minute here.
Okay, I'm going to try to get this in there, but I don't know. I really don't know what was in here. It might have been a hose in a vent or something, like this one has. And by the way, the park owner has two saws similar to this, very similar. And all of them are just like this, with this little hose sticking out with nothing on the end of it. In other words, don't get any closer, Tom, it won't focus. In other words, they're all like that. There's no duckbill on the end of them. And nowhere in the book does it mention about a duckbill. The only time I ever seen that is on eBay. So what I'm going to do here, we got very little gas in here. Make sure my fingers are clean. Yeah, you can see that? See my finger there? See the whiteness? I'm moving my finger up. Well, there's a hole there. So I'm going to try to work this in. If I can't get this in here, that's small stuff, I can't see what I'm doing. If I can't get this in here, I'm going to put a screw in there. My reading glasses on here. I'm going to try to make a point on this here piece of trimmer hose, gas line. And we're going to sharpen it like a pencil with the razor blade. Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to be, it's very hard for me to see this small stuff. I'll try to make a point, and then I can stick it in that hole, and this will hopefully will fill the hole up. If this don't work, I'll just have to put a screw in it. I really don't want to put a screw in it, because in the future, if you ever want to put a gas line in it, you've made the hole bigger, and it will not work anymore. Well, let's see if that goes in. My hand in here. Yep, she's in. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this up and cut this off. Yeah, put that in the box. Now I got a little hole here. So now if I can find a real small screw to go in there, that would be better than trying to drive a screw into this gas container. And, it might seal better because this is rubber.
And if you look in here, you can see where the gas line just sticks in a little bit. So let me work on this. Oh, before I do that, there are only two screws here. There is nothing here. The chainsaws that the park owner has is made the same way. So I looked at them the same way. And the book shows it the same way. So these are the adjustments. He adjusted these already. We have a heck of a time starting it, and we're getting a lot of oil that's getting into the engine, and it's smoking like the devil. So something's not right with this oil delivery. I don't know what it is. We can't figure it out. So if we go to use it, we're just going to take a squirt can and spray oil on the chain. That's all. All right. This is the smallest Phillips screw I have. That's what's in here now. You come over on this side, Tom, with the camera. Come over this side. My question is this going to fit? Is the cover going to go on when I tighten this down in there? If this don't work out, I'll have to take the hose out. And put the screw in without the hose. Which means it will leak a little bit, but it's not going to pour out like it was doing. Try to hold this. You know what? You know what? I just pushed my screw. I just pushed the hose inside. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put this. Let me try this. Just putting a screw in here. No, that's too loose. That's too loose. I had to put a bigger screw in here. Well, that's as tight as it's going to get, I guess. The gas shouldn't leak out. The question is the cover going to fit on that? That's the question. Is the cover gonna fit on that? Let me put this on and tip this and see if we're getting gas out of it. Don't seem to be getting any gas out of it. And there is gas in there. You know what? I think we're gonna call this good. Now I hope this fits in here because of the screw sticking up. Could be a problem with fitting in there properly. Now, there was nothing on the bench here as far as pieces missing other than that little brass piece which I showed you in the video earlier. Let's see. Oh, good. Let's see. That's connected. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get this back together here. I'm not saying it's going to run though. We gently put the screws in. Seem to be going in just fine. This may be a two-part video. It usually is, because my videos are always too long. Now, screw. We'll see if this thing goes. There's a little gas in it. We lost so much gas today because of that hole. No idea what was in there. I think it was a plug that must have fallen out when I was cleaning this thing. He adjusted the chain. I don't know what that noise is. All right, but it's bone dry. Well, let's just see. 3 minutes so far. All right, let's try it. All right, half choke. Nope, full choke again. Oh, switch is off. That's stupid of me. All right, now let's go half choke. He's idling now. He fixed the jets adjustments. Well, I spoke too soon. As soon as I give it the gas, it dies out. All right, well, that's the verdict on that. And that's all we're going to do today. At least it's running, and at least it did go for a short while. We had a lot of trouble because it was very hard starting, and once you get it going, it seems to be okay. It doesn't cut the wood too good. He sharpened it, but it's I'm going to have to change the blade. I don't even want to think about changing the chain because this don't come off, and to get it in there and all fitted, he had a heck of a time, and he's got better eyesight than I did. All right, release the pressure in the gas and tighten the cap back down. We're going to put it back into the shed. I think I got it locked up. Put it over here. That's it. That's all I'm going to do today.
Okay. Thanks for watching.